Hello, BookTube. Well, was I not right? Am I not a genius? Here I am, continuing my library tour in 2024. We are in bookcase number 2, and we have reached the summit. This is the summit, day 1. There are no more shelves. There are just gigantic piles of books. And I wondered how I was going to be able to film this until I had a brain wave and came up with the solution that is going to work for the rest of the summit. So let's start and see what we have. There are still all going to be mass markets. These are all still mass market paperbacks. So the first one we have is George Harmon Cox. This is Suddenly a Widow, which will either do for Dr. November or for Garb August, depending. I'll do a little more research. Then we have a UK mass market paperback of Bomber by Len Deighton. Some of his more or less straight up historical fiction that I like. I like it very much. I don't know why I have just this one, when I'd either want all of it or none of it. I have all of him on ebook, I believe. But I for instance, I don't think at the moment I have his one-volume biography, his one-volume history of World War II, which is quite good. And I don't think I have his novel Winter. I got it once as a hardcover on this channel, hauled it from the Brattle on this channel, but I sent it out almost right away, so I don't have it. But anyway, let's move on to, all right, this is a mass market paperback of Foucault's Pendulum by Umberto Eco, one of his most complex and imbricated novels. I had a UK trade paperback of this that I didn't particularly like. It was badly cocked, and it just didn't fit right in the hand. Very rare for a UK trade paperback to be so inhospitable to me. And I got rid of it. I love this author. Generally speaking, I love this author. But I got rid of that book and just didn't have a copy of Foucault's Pendulum. And then the late, great Jason Harrigan, on his BookTube channel a couple of years ago, promised eco-fiction. He promised an entire year of reading the works of Umberto Eco, who he knows backwards and forwards. He knows this book especially. He has plumbed all of the complexities that the author actually worked into this book and then buried under topsoil so that you can read this thing without knowing about them, which is the mark of a good writer. And the more you know of those complexities, the more you will get out of this book. And Jason knows them all. But then, not only did he not do eco-fiction, but he doesn't do BookTube anymore. So this copy is just sitting here, forlornly asking me to read it. Okay, then we have old science fiction. This is really gothic horror science fiction. This is John Lymington's The Grey Ones, which is a tiny little thing that will work either for I don't know, maybe Rocket Summer. I'm pretty sure this was done in the 50s. 1970, just on the end of Rocket Summer. Rocket Summer, the vintage science fiction event that's coming up in July, cuts off at 1970. I think it cuts off at the year 1970. But I'm pretty sure it would also work for Garb August. So, okay, then we have a Tom Swift novel. Tom Swift has been around for 100 years. I don't think this book is going to tell me that, because this is a modern pastiche. Sometimes I will see, this is from 1991. Sometimes I will see Tom Swift novels at the Brattle Bookshop, out in the sale lot, from 100 years ago. He's an adventurous teenager. And this is Tom Swift number 6, Aquatech Warriors. It's a tiny little thing. There is Tom. A little note, if you're scuba diving in any way, bright yellow is not good. It's not a good color. But not only is he chained and weighted to the bottom of the ocean, which gives him 3 minutes to live, and not only is he chained to a pile of explosives, those are TNT stacks, which of course will not work underwater. We can assume there's a bomb there as well. And not only is there an enemy submarine only over him, and not only is there some sort of killer manta ray headed for him, but there's also a shark and an enemy agent. So it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to survive. But at least he has the consolation of knowing that if he's going to die, he at least did not skip leg day. No idea. That will probably do for Garb August. There's quite a bit on here that will do for Garb August. Okay, this will not do for Garb August, this next one. This is for an upcoming mega BookTube event, June on the Range. Is coming up in June, where we all drop the more worthwhile things that we're reading and read Westerns instead. All year long, I look forward to June on the Range. I like Westerns, but I don't like them enough so that they compel me the rest of the year. So all year long, I just get cheap Westerns that I see and throw them on a pile. and I will sort them all out during June on the Range. I will add a huge amount of Westerns reading to my daily reading for June on the Range, just like I did for March Mystery Madness, just like I'll do for a whole bunch of other BookTube events. So I have a whole bunch of these that I have not read. This will increase the fraction of books that I have not read. This is by Will Brown, and it is The Kelly Man. Just a battered little paperback that will serve me quite well for June on the Range. We have another, well, almost all of these. I think I have one hardcover Western. This is Alan LeMay. This is Gunsight Trail. Pretty sure you can't fire a gun if you're holding it like that, around a corner like that. Pretty sure that's going to hurt you a lot more than it hurts anybody you're shooting at, but what do I know? All right, this is not a murder mystery. This is a murder mystery. This isn't a Western. This is by an author going by the name of Marco Page, and it's called Fast Company. And it's a murder mystery taking place in the book world. This is an old pocket paperback. Can you make out? Well, The Little Kangaroo is the colophon you want to look for, because if you see that, believe it or not, that these books are going to hold up. I don't know how they were made, but these old pocket paperbacks really hold up. This one, for instance, is from 1938. And this pocket paperback was done in 1943. And yet, I've read this. I read it in paperback. I've read it in bed, just as you're supposed to, late at night. And it could easily take another read. These things are incredibly strong. Just incredibly durable. So that, I don't know, that'll probably wait until March Mystery Madness. March Mystery Madness this year had a theme. To the Nines. And I decided to indulge in that theme and read only the 9th book in series. So a lot of the murder mysteries that I have piled up here, either to read or to reread, didn't get read. Who knows? We need another regular mystery event as well. Okay, then we have this. This is by Mary Ellen Chase. It's a little novel that I got up in Vermont. I couldn't resist because it was the perfect setup for a joke. It's called A Journey to Boston. I used it as a joke in the book hall where I filmed up in Vermont. I said that the Mark Richardson and his family were pushing this into my hands, and I wasn't quite sure why. But I ended up reading it, and it is quite good. Very slight, but quite good. Then we have a UK mass market paperback. Oh my God, there's schmutz on so many of these books. And I don't know if that's just that I'm not like Mark Richardson up in Vermont. I don't regularly pull off and clean my books. I should. If I have them, I should. 5,000, 6,000 of them, I should. I don't know if it's because of that or it's because these books are in the kitchen where meals are cooked and there's residue in the air. But this is by Barbara Pym. This is a little mass market paperback of Crampton Hobnet. One of her more tongue-in-cheek, one of her more successful, it seems wrong to say comic romp in connection with an author like Barbara Pym, but that's exactly what Crampton Hobnet is. It's a comic romp, and it's delightful. Absolutely. If it doesn't, some of her other novels, you'll realize right away. In fact, when you read her, you will realize right away that you are in the presence of genuine literary talent. The men from, when did Crampton Hobnet first come out? 1986. The men publishing novels all the way to the left of her and all the way to the right of her in 1986 are still talked about. They're still reprinted. The women are not, and generally speaking are not. And so you might not have read a Barbara Pym novel. If you've read some of her other books, this might surprise you. Because some of her other books, they're really good, but they also verge on being serious in a way that this one does not. Then we have this old Bantam edition of Hermann Hesse, Bantam did these white spine mass market paperbacks of everything by him. This is Knoop. This is a tiny little thing, a novella really about a young man who's he's very much cut in the nature of young Torless, he's very much cut in the nature of a young man who's not cut out for this world. The world's too heavy, man. I just want to strum my lyre and walk around in my floppy clothes. And that's basically all that this is. It's just, like all of those books, is one gigantic hymn to self-pity. But still good. I should probably say who the translation is, right? Because these were all over the place. These were everywhere. 1977, yeah, all through the 70s. Bantam came out with all of these Hermann Hesse editions. Okay, then we have a rarity. I don't want this to be a rarity, but I think it is. This is The Mating Season by P.G. Wodehouse. This is a Bertie Wooster novel, a novel about Bertie Wooster and his all-knowing valet, Jeeves. Omniscient isn't coming to me. I don't seem to be able to say the word omniscient, so I'll just say all-knowing. His all-knowing valet, Jeeves. And I love it, of course. I had once upon a time all the paperbacks in this particular cover designed from the U.S. But I don't have. I have a lot of P.G. Wodehouse, but not in individual mass market paperbacks. I have a lot of anthologies, and I have everything on ebook. But I don't have a lot of these little paperbacks, and that's not good. Because sometimes on a really hot summer day, when the rest of the day is beating you up and not going well, you really want to just take a P.G. Wodehouse paperback, the more battered the better, to the chaise lounge and just read away the afternoon. And forget about the rest of the things you need to do. Just read some P.G. Wodehouse until you're in a good mood. But I have that, The Mating Season, and I have this, Summer Lightning, which is a Blandings book, obviously, since there's the Empress of Blandings right there. But I don't think I have much more in the way of P.G. Wodehouse in little mass market paperbacks. This is a Penguin. And I don't think I have many more of those. And that's not good. That needs to be rectified. The Brabble will provide. Okay, then Robert Reinhardt is our next author. This is from 1982. So the roaring beginnings of the AIDS epidemic, when all of a sudden the gay world in America and the rest of the world was going to change. But this is just before that. This is A History of Shadows. And it is it's an overwrought novel. It's extremely overwritten, but you can tell from the cover. I don't know if you're going to be able to make out the details on the cover there, but this is the author's brave attempt to bridge the one unbridgeable divide in the so-called gay community. There is no such thing as a gay community. The most savage people that I've ever seen behave towards gays were other gays. So it's no such thing as the gay community, but even in the pretext of the gay community, there is one divide, one group that is universally hated and mocked. And it's not trans people, it's not bi people, it's not two-spirit people, it's not three-spirit people or 10-spirit people. It's old people. It's old gay people who are considered completely invisible and functionless, or an embarrassment, or both. And this book, obviously you can see from the cover, is trying to bridge that. It's a mess. It's just a mess of a novel. I got it, I think, because I once upon a time had a whole bookcase of, I guess we could call it vintage. This is pretty much pre-AIDS gay fiction. And after this, none of it was. After this, there was no... If you wrote a book that wasn't about AIDS for the 10 years after this, you were viewed as some sort of traitor. So there are eras. Pre-Stonewall gay novels are fascinating to read. Pre-AIDS gay novels are fascinating to read. I don't know. There's a thesis in there somewhere that's probably not being written. Okay, then this isn't good. We have science fiction. Neuromancer by William Gibson. This is not good. Not that this is excellent. This is actually really, really good. Hate to say it, sounds very hipsterish of me, but I think it's the best thing this author ever wrote. I think this author makes a good case for someone who had maybe 2, maybe 3 novels in him. I think he's up to 15. But this shouldn't be here, right? Because we've gone over science fiction. We've already seen where science fiction lives. This isn't anywhere near it. So where am I going to put that? What am I going to do with that? Well, let's push on here. We have UK mass market paperback, a novel. Alan Hollingfirst, The Stranger's Child. I love the cover. The cover, I know it's a stock photo, but the cover actually does work for the contents of the novel. And the contents of the novel, Hollingfirst, I think, is really good. I am a big fan. He has yet to disappoint me, and to put it mildly, some of the critical responses to him have disappointed me. So, I look forward to any new book that he ever comes out with. But I also love rereading him. I've read Stranger's Child a couple of times, even in the boring American hardcover edition. All right. I think I got this for March Mystery Madness, and never got to it. This is Graham Greene. This is an old. Was this Bantam? Yeah, this is an old Bantam paperback of Brighton Rock. which does indeed start out as a mystery novel, a kind of private eye novel, and wants to be one. It doesn't stay that way. It loses molecular cohesion completely. but 2/3 of its length is very interesting green, which is, in my opinion, kind of rare. Another murder mystery. This is Julian Simmons. This is a Sweet Adelaide, big Penguin crime mystery novel of his. It doesn't belong here, right? We saw the Penguin crime novels. They're all together. And they're not, the Penguin crime novels are all together, down below there. And they're going to stay all together, but they're not going to stay here. This bookcase is going to be all science fiction and fantasy. I'm going to take all the historical fiction and all the mysteries off, fill all the shelves with science fiction and fantasy. I'm going to take all the books off the summit, except for science fiction and fantasy. Now, I'm guessing that the mass market paperbacks of science fiction and fantasy will fill all 4 of the shelves, leaving the top empty. And then what I'm going to do, instead of stacking mass market paperbacks, is stack hardcovers and trade paperbacks of science fiction and fantasy pulled from elsewhere. So I have one place where it all is. That's kind of what I'm planning to do. The one hesitation involved is that task will be a lot more enjoyable if it's shared. So I think I will wait to share it. Okay, then we have historical fiction. This is Boone Island by Kenneth Roberts in a ratty mass market paperback. I started rereading this when I got it. When did I get this? February of this year. I started rereading it when I got it and could tell right away that if I continued, I would pull it apart. It would break apart. So I put it down and reread it as an ebook, which means this paperback should not be here. It should not be here. It ought to go, at the very least, into a bag to a little free library, because I'm not going to use it. But that's what these library tours are for, right? Then we have an old mass market paperback of The Scarlet Pimpernel. They seek him here, they seek him there. A terrific adventure story, perfect for all kinds of booktube events. Although I don't know that this volume will hold up well to reread. Okay, we have a classic. This doesn't belong here at all. I'm going to segregate all of these things. This is Billy Budd by Herman Melville. And what, was it Bantam? Bantam called this an enriched classic, where they put all sorts of... Oh, no, they didn't. All right. This is just Billy Budd. But then Bantam started doing something called the enriched classics, where they would put pictures and instead of pictures and whatnot in here to make it a little bit more, make it stand out in the book staple genre. And this was reissued as one of those. I believe I have it in both formats, so we'll probably be coming across Billy Budd again. Should we just keep going? Oh yeah, we're only 20 minutes. All right, these next 4 I found at the used book superstore when I was there with David Murphy. These are Horatio Hornblower novels in one particular pinnacle paperback set. So this is Ship of the Line, probably the most effective Hornblower novel. And this is the edition that I found, which I once had, which has no folderol on the back. It's just one big, gorgeous painting. And I found 4 of these things. There's Flying Colors, also with this cover. There you go. There's. I found Beat to Quarters, also really, really effective as a Hornblower book. With just this, that's all you get. The whole of them were issued this way. I only found 4 at the used book superstore. There's Hornblower and the Atropos with that cover. And that's it. Those are the only ones I found. So I'm on the lookout for the others, but I was glad to snap up these. Then we have fantasy. This does not belong here. This is by Anton Strout, and this is called Dead Matter. It's an urban fantasy novel. They don't really float my boat, but this is a Paul Marin cover, so I grabbed it, and I will keep it. We have The Wicked Day by Mary Stewart. This is the 4th, the concluding volume of her Arthurian novels. It started off with the Crystal Caves, or... No, what was the first one? Geez, I sold enough copies of it, you'd think I'd know. Yeah, The Crystal Cave, The Hollow Hills, The Last Enchantment, and then The Wicked Day. And as you can tell from that angry young gay on the cover, this is about Mordred. This is about Arthur's betrayal. And that finishes out the whole storyline. Oh, no. This is Cordwainer Smith. This is an old Berkeley paperback, You Will Never Be the Same. It's just a recollection of Cordwainer Smith's short stories. We saw those in the best of Cordwainer Smith. So what's in here? No, not Rogov. The Lady Who Sailed the Soul. Scanners Live in Vain. The great short story that really kicked things off. The Game of Rat and Dragon. Fantastic. The Burning of the Brain. The Golden Was the Ship 000. Mark Elf and Alpha Ralpha Boulevard. So this has 3 great Cordwainer Smith stories in it, but it doesn't belong here. Yeah, I'm not even going to put it back. I'm going to put it with science fiction. Okay, then we have a spy novel. This is by Ross Thomas, and it's the Cold War Swap. For Dr. November, I meant to do a huge amount of wide reading with Dr. November last year. In November, a bunch of us read spy and espionage fiction and nonfiction. Tremendous fun. And I meant to do a wide-ranging selection for Dr. November, and I ended up spending most of the month rereading John le Carré because he's so good. All right. Then we have a collection of vampire and werewolf stories. The Dark Dominion, with Lon Chaney and Christopher Lee on the cover there. This is just an anthology. Do we even know who edited this? No, we don't. We're not even told who edited it. There's Peter Fleming, Jane Rice, Geraldus Campbell. Gerald of Wales is in here. His book about Irish lycanthropy. No comment. Oh, Lafcadio O'Hearn is in here. Frederick Marryat. Fantastic. Okay, a good anthology. I just need to find an occasion to use it. And, of course, need to find a new home for it. Okay, then we have Ryu Murakami, the good Murakami. This is Almost Transparent Blue in these old Kodansha paperbacks. This was his debut novel, all full of drugs and sex. Then we have historical fiction. Where is the big BookTube historical fiction event? Where is that? This is by Ralph Graves, not Robert Graves, and this is The Lost Eagles, which is about the eagles of Quintilius Varus, the Roman general who lost catastrophically in the Teutoburg Forest, who lost gigantically, despite ample warning that he was marching into a trap. He still lost, and the eagles involved are the standards of the legions, these tall poles that were carried by men of distinction. It was a position that you vied for. It contained the pennants and the insignia, the honors of your particular legion, and at the top, the finial was a gigantic eagle, and those were stolen by the Germans from the battle at the Teutoburg Forest. So that's what this is about: searching for those lost eagles. I'm sensing some garbage. Yes, okay. I think these are a lot of garbage that I've already read. House in Naples by Peter Rabe I did read for Garb August. Brutal and sordid and ugly and nothing redeeming about it. I guess that was just considered the vogue. And then we have John West. This is Bullets Are My Business. Also really, really garbagey and so small. The thing that's so good about a lot of garbage is that you can read it in an hour. This isn't garbage. This is historical fiction. Now it's historical fiction. This is by William Pelfrey, and it's called The Big V. And it's a war novel. It doesn't belong with garbage, though. I should find another place for it. It actually belongs with historical fiction. I liked it quite a bit. Okay, then there's Richard Coleman. Don't You Weep, Don't You Moan. Which I got for Garb August, but I did not read. I'll have to read it this year. Okay, then Howard Schoenfeld. See, the Garb August books start to sound all the same, and believe me, they also read all the same. This is Bullets. Let Them Eat Bullets. So not Bullets Are My Business, but Let Them Eat Bullets, which doesn't make any sense at all. Tiny little thing, though. Just when men were men, and they punched women, etc., etc. Okay, then we have something by Jack Thomas called The Fear Dealers, a sensational novel of 5 freaked-out kids on a rampage. Classic Garb August fare. We have Kill Squad by Frank Garrett. This is Kill Squad number 9, Devil's Island. And it's got a very busy cover. I mainly got the cover for that giant tiger shark that you can barely see on the cover there. I mainly got it for that. But again, perfect Garb August fare. I wonder if we must be hitting a vein of Garb August. Okay, I don't know what this one is. I don't think that I actually read this. Did I read this? No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like it would only take one reading. This is Mitchell Wilson. This is his novel, My Brother, My Enemy. So either it's about two feuding brothers, probably with a woman caught between them, or it's about any family in South Boston. But it doesn't look like it's going to take a read, more than one read. So I'll check it out. I'll read about it and then maybe get to it for Garb August. Okay, this is definitely Garb August, although I've already read this. I read it. I think I read it for Dr. November, but I'm going to read it again because it was so good, unless I can find more in the series. This is The Lady from LUST. And it's number 6. There were at least 6 of these things. This is by someone going by the name of Rod Gray, and it's To Russia with LUST. It was hilarious. This was hilarious. This is a quintessential example of what I talk about when we get to Garb August. That some books are garbage without knowing that they're garbage. Some books are garbage believing that they're great. And then other books are garbage and know it. The author is in on the joke. Those, for my money, are the things to celebrate at Garb August. And I love them. And this author, whoever he is very much in on the joke. Okay, then more garbage. This is Edmund Schiedel. What an unfortunate name. This is Good Time Coming. A sex romp novel that will work just fine for Garb August. Now, this one I read for Garb August. This is The Executioner, number 16. One of our benchmarks for whether or not the thing you're reading may or may not be garbage is, does it go up to number 16? Does it have some absurd number? Is the series just going on forever and ever? In that case, it's almost certainly garbage. And this is Jim Peterson writing The Executioner. This is Sicilian Slaughter, where the executioner, who is on a one-man war against the mob, decides to take the war to the origin of the problem. He takes it to Sicily. And then lastly, so we got through this one whole column here at the summit. This is by Florence Stonebreaker, and it is called Young Dr. Eliot, where he is just about to either break or reinforce his Hippocratic Oath. A tiny little thing, it'll take no time at all to read. And there you go. Not only is that the first column of the summit, but it's also a pure demonstration of my genius, because I found a way to film up here without balancing the laptop on all sorts of rickety stuff and without needing anyone to hold a camera while I film or anything like that. So we'll see if this ingenuity holds true all throughout. It's not going to, because there are some shelves coming in 2 or 3 months. We're going to get to some shelves that cannot be filmed unless I'm standing on something rickety, unless I'm standing way up on a footstool. And I have been given strict orders by a number of you not to do that. The only other workaround for that is to take those books down off the shelf and film that part of this library tour in a can, so to speak, not in situ. And who wants to do that? I might have to. But anyway, that's the summit, day 1. So I will wrap this up for now, and we'll be back next time. Thank you, BookTube.